Morning, everybody. Just a couple of things before we begin. I see that my announcement sheet is dated 11/6, so I'm going to tell you all the things that did happen. I have one with the correct date somewhere, but one thing I always say is please notate your attendance if you don't mind doing that on the turquoise tablet that's somewhere on your row. We love to know who's here. You can always update your information. If you have a question about something, you can even write it in there. Does the giving tree still have tags on it? Okay, the giving tree is right about there out in the foyer. It has tags on it that we pick up gifts that are given to the children of the Workers' Defense Project. And so there's still some left, so see that spot. It's time to order poinsettias. If you would like to order a poinsettia in memory or honor of someone, call the church office, or that's something else you can put on the friendship tab.
No, you email me.
Oh, I'm sorry, that doesn't say that here. Or you can email Babs. You know, any staff member, you know, we may give you a clueless look, but, you know, we'll get the message to the right person. Which is Babs, apparently, yeah.
Yes, I've got the spreadsheet.
Oh, the spreadsheet. Okay. Concert coming up. I messed up on the date for those of you who came to see the flute choir. I announced wrongly. A week from tomorrow, the 12th, 7:30 p.m. is the Austin Handbell Ensemble. And if you don't do anything else all year long, that going to Christmas concerts, come to that. Now, those of you who have seen handbell choirs in churches before that had about 10 people on a table, you know, it ain't that, all right? I promise you, you'll be impressed and you'll have a great time, and it's very entertaining. Before COVID, I said this same thing, and somebody came up to me after the concert and said, I only came because you made such a big pitch and said I would enjoy it, and I'm so glad that I came. So you too can be glad. Now, this is a ticketed event, $15 at the door or online, but it's well worth it. And I really, if you've never seen them before, I hope you will take that opportunity. It is the highlight of the season, one of the highlights of the season anyway, here at St. Andrews. It's a marvelous thing. 7:30.
Is it here?
It is here in this room on Monday night, the 12th. Okay. I think that is it. Anything else come to mind?
Yeah, Stephen's song.
Wednesday.
Is it?
Week from Wednesday, second Wednesday. Anybody have a
The second Wednesday, it's okay. The second Wednesday of the month, every month, right?
Right.
Okay, second Wednesday of the month, every month is Evensong, a small, intimate, contemplative service that takes place in the Sunrise Room. Second Wednesday of every month, and it happens at 6:30?
Yes.
6:30 to 7:15. Okay. All right, very good. I think we can begin.
Welcome to all who are here this morning in person and all who are here on Zoom. Hi, everybody. We are so happy that you're here. This is your first time. Please, I'd love to get the chance to meet you and talk with you. Our hope is that while you are here, you feel welcome, that you feel like you can be authentically yourself, and that when you leave, you want to come back. Let us now go into community.
In the awe of a beautiful sunrise, in the laughter or memories of a table full of friends, in the flash of clarity that turns on the light of insight and leads us towards wisdom, we find the peace that passes all understanding. Relight hope, candle, and light the second candle. That was actually the directions. My apologies. In case you're wondering what we're about to do, stage direction left. We light the candles for hope and peace, for the courage to stand up for them. May we deepen our desire for peace. May we seek, strive, and search for peace daily. All, we light the candle for peace. May it light our way. Exit stage left.
Please rise as you're able.
And Young of Heart up for the puppets. The children's time. Oh, if you see any bags on the way, or if you can look and see if there are any that are left over, I want to bring those up for our food pantry.
Morning, everybody. While we're getting ready, I'll take this opportunity to thank Nancy and Brett for filling in for Marilyn. Marilyn is feeling a little under the weather. It's not COVID, she said, but it's a pretty bad cold. So anyway, thank you all.
Takes a village.
Takes a village to have a puppet show, yes.
Hello!
Hello, 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 hello.
Holiday greetings, my dear friends. Isn't it exciting that Christmas is near?
Yep. Hey, Hortense, Mr. Monkey doesn't like it when we say holiday greetings. He wants us to say Merry Christmas. In fact, he wants us to say Merry Presbyterian Christmas.
That's right, young people. We're the reason for the season.
Oh, no, Mr. Monkey. Love is the reason for the season.
Yep.
And besides, Jesus said for us to be good neighbors, which means respecting people of other religions and respecting people who aren't religious at all.
Well, I agree that Jesus taught us to love everyone. But that's why it's so important to cram our religion down their throats.
Oh,
It's because we love them.
Mr. Monkey, I think it's a wonderful thing to say Merry Christmas if someone is Christian. There are lots of holidays being celebrated at this time.
Well, if you want to declare a war on Christmas, go ahead.
There isn't a war on Christmas. We can still say Merry Christmas to each other, but we can also be respectful to other religions.
Yeah, I gotta agree with Hortense on this one, little buddy. You know, I have lots of friends from other faiths, and they're just as good as you or me.
Well, they may be as good as you. I may be the only Christian left in America today who knows that the Bible says they'll know we're Christians by our smirk.
No. The Bible says they'll know we are Christian by our love. Young people, don't you think that what is important isn't so much what we say, but the things that we say things in love?
Yeah, love's important, that's right.
Well, I guess Rudolph can just find another job.
Oh, Mr. Monkey, stop it. God is about loving everyone, right, young people?
Yep. So I can say Merry Christmas to Mr. Monkey, Happy Hanukkah to Rabbi Rabbit, and Happy Solstice to Priestess Penguin. Can we sing a song, Jim? Is there something that would include all those things?
I think so. Oh, wait, there's a guitar here.
What luck!
Yeah. With a 2-inch cord. Okay. This is a song that I'm hoping we'll be able to sing through the whole Christmas season, if you like it, that is. And it may take a little while to learn the lyrics because Merry Christmas to you, Happy Hanukkah too, Feliz Navidad, Happy Solstice too, peace on earth and goodwill to all. Peace on earth and goodwill to all. Remember? Ready? Yeah.
Merry Christmas to you. Happy Hanukkah too. Feliz Navidad. Happy solstice too. Peace on earth and goodwill to all. Peace on earth and goodwill to all. One more time. Merry Christmas to you. Happy Hanukkah too. Feliz Navidad. Happy solstice too. Peace on earth and goodwill to all. Peace on earth and goodwill to all. Thank you.
Well, I want to invite our youngest members of the community to the nursery. Those 4 and under are welcome in the nursery. And everyone who would like to join me for chapel is invited to go with me and Miss Carrie now. We may spend a little time outside at the end, so if you have a coat and you want to grab it, now is a good time.
When you're lost in your own life, when the landscape you've known falls away, when your familiar path becomes foreign and you find yourself a stranger in the story you had held most dear, then let yourself be lost. Let yourself leave for a place whose contours you do not already know, whose cadences you have not learned by heart. Let yourself land on a threshold that mirrors the mystery of your own bewildered soul. It will come as a surprise what arrives to welcome you through the door, making a place for you at the table and calling you by name. Let what comes come. Let the glass be filled. Let the light be tended. Let the hands lay before you what will meet you in your hunger. Let the laughter, let the sweetness that enters the sorrow, let the solace that comes as sustenance and sudden unbidden grace. For what comes, offer gladness. For what greets you with kindly welcome, offer thanks. Offer blessing for those who gathered you in and will not be forgotten. Those who, when you were a stranger, made a place for you at the table and called you by your name.
Good morning. For those of you who don't know me yet, I'm Marcia Brown. I'm a retired Presbyterian minister, was an associate pastor here about 17 years ago, and moved back from Indiana and St. Louis to home 4 years ago, and have found myself wanting to be in a congregation and to be with people in pastoral ways. And so I am offering myself as a chaplain to the congregation to visit in person or by phone or text, however that can happen if you so feel the need. I'll be out in the lobby afterwards, and come find me, and we can exchange emails or phone numbers. I am wearing a visor. Nobody else here is wearing a visor because the glare bothers my eyes. I have what's called low vision, which means that my eyes cannot be fixed by surgery or cataracts or glasses. And I see some things and I don't see some things, and my vision changes. So it's kind of hard to describe. Basically, it's sort of like macular degeneration, where the center of your eye is gone. So all the detail goes away. Your faces, reading. I have my font at 38 today. So I can see some. So anyway, if you if you don't know if I'm looking for you, call my name. And if I don't remember yours, I'll ask you. I want to share a poem before I get started with the prayer concerns. And I think it's an appropriate poem for Advent. It was written by L.R. Nost, who was a woman who specialized in childhood education and expressed kindness as her theme. Do not be dismayed by the brokenness of the world. All things are broken, and all things can be mended. Not with time, as they say, but with intention. So go, love intentionally, extravagantly, unconditionally. The broken world waits in darkness for the light that is you. Our prayer concerns today, as you hold them in your heart and mind today and during the week. Bob's brother, yes, Chuck, had surgery, back surgery on Tuesday, and is in the hospital and recovering. So we are grateful for that he's recovering. I wrote something. Oh, yes. Beverly Cranshaw used to be our organist. I was here a long time ago. I raised my kids in this church before I was a pastor. So she was here a long time, 30 years or so. And she died this last week, and her son, Dave, has come with us. I don't know if Dave is here today still. And I don't see hands, so anyway, Dave came and told us that and thought that there might still be some people that remembered Beverly. So we remember their family in our thoughts and prayers. Brian and Susan have a friend named Carol whose mother died last week. And that's especially difficult in this time of the year for those who are facing fresh grief. Erica asked for prayers for her Aunt Mary, who has Alzheimer's and fell and broke her hip, and she has now been received into hospice care. Erica's mother is also suffering from a lot of stress of all of this and supporting her sister and needs our prayers. Destiny's mother, Sherry, has been in the hospital for stem cell transplant, and she is now home. But they have to still be very careful as far as her getting any illness. Brett and Chris are receiving cancer treatment. There are others in our congregation and that you will see every day who are facing depression or anxiety or mental illnesses that need understanding and patience and time. I do use glasses for magnification. So whatever vision I have, it helps to see it a little bit. Jeannie asked prayers for her sister. Sorry about this, it got added on. Who is struggling with health issues. And for Jim, whose wife has been, and his wife who have been hospitalized with COVID. Let us go in prayer. Spirit and light of life, we call on you today for healing, for strength, for courage, for love. In the midst of difficulties that come and go at all times of the year, but somehow seem worse during the holidays. We ask for you to give us the ability to reach out in love to all that we see, and especially to ourselves first, and to offer compassion to ourselves so that we are healed healers. We ask this name in the prayer of the one who has many names. Amen.
We have a short tune to sing that we call our prayer for illumination, and I apologize that I didn't realize the slide. It's magic. Just out of order. Just out of order. Never mind.
Our scripture reading this morning is from the first chapter of John. It's also my favorite. In the beginning, there was the Word. The Word was in God's presence, and the Word was God. The Word was present to God from the beginning. Through the Word, all things came into being, and apart from the Word, nothing came into being that has come into being. In the Word was life, and that life was humanity's light, a light that shines in the darkness, a light that the darkness has never overtaken. Then came one named John, sent as an envoy from God, who came as a witness to testify about the light, so that through his testimony everyone might believe. He himself wasn't the light, he only came to testify about the light, the true light that illumines all humankind. The Word was coming into the world, was in the world, and though the world was made through the world didn't recognize it. Though the Word came to its own realm, the Word's own people didn't accept it. Yet any who did accept the Word, who believed in that name, were empowered to become children of God, children born not of natural descent, nor urge of flesh, nor human will, but born of God. And the Word became flesh and stayed for a little while among us. We saw the Word's glory, the favor and position a parent gives an only child, filled with grace, filled with truth. John testified by proclaiming, "This is the one I was talking about when I said, The one who comes after me ranks ahead of me, for this one existed before I did. Of this one's fullness, we've all had a share, gift upon gift. For while the law was given through Moses, the gift and the truth came through Jesus Christ. No one has ever seen God. It is the only begotten ever at God's side who has revealed God to us. Ancient words for our consideration.
Hello. Thank you all for being here. When I started this series, I wasn't sure how empty the place was going to be towards the end, so I appreciate people struggling through this. When I was young, and then when I went through seminary and after seminary, it always felt like the Bible was describing a different world than the one I lived in. The religious world that I was taught did not look like my day-to-day life, and for a long time I thought I was supposed to pretend that all of these things were illuminating my life, were helping me make my decisions. But there was some part of me that wondered why I didn't get any angels. Right? You tell the Christmas story and there's angels all over the place. I wasn't asking a lot, just maybe one angel. Could call, something like that, send a letter. My cough is back. So, the animals talk in the Bible, some of them. People walk on water. I just haven't had a lot of experience with that. And what I decided in terms of my life, and you certainly do not have to agree with this, is that I wanted religion to work in my ordinary life. What I discovered was the more magical my religion became, the more meaningless my everyday life became as a result. That if I couldn't find the sacred in the ordinary every day, that even if I believed in incredibly magical, wonderful things, I wasn't going to be spending a lot of time there. So I believe when we look at John, we have a real mirror into the early church, in that there would be no reason for this prologue at the first of John if he was then writing a history book. Right? It's a real strange poem coming from, you see the Greek philosophy, you see some Hebrew, but universal Hebrew kind of thing. I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, and it's really important. When you read John, first of all, realize you're looking through a man's eyes. So you have to counterbalance that. The roles of the sacred tend to be expressed in masculine terms. There are women there, but they're not equal. Part of that is when you speak Greek. If you were a lifelong Jewish wisdom person, then wisdom would be female, would be Sophia. But if you're speaking Greek, it's a male word. And so you have all kinds of really strange things that Jesus talks about, the bosom. Like there's just not a whole lot of point in going to a man's bosom. Right? When the religion has its feminist roots, then yeah, nurture, love, all of those kinds of things. Also, he has a problem with Jewish people. If you just take the story at face value, it's not really fair at all to the Jewish people. And it may be they were traumatized afterwards, but we don't have an excuse, particularly with the United States being the way it is right now, not to condemn, even in Scripture, when we see something that's anti-Semitic. So I believe that these ancient texts were experiences that people had of a mystical experience of their depth You don't have to believe in God to have that experience of the tie that binds us to everything, of that sense of being addressed by life. I feel those mystical experiences that all of us have were kind of copyrighted by the church. It said if you have these official experiences, then that's going to work. Now, for me, I faked it for a while, but at some point you want to live your life. And you want to see what is the best way that I can give my gift to the world. So I believe when you see these stories of Jesus, they're put in human terms, but they're talking about cosmic truths. And not just like cosmic in some abstract way, but the living truths of who we are. When we go deeper into ourselves, we're connected to the web of life. And when people don't know that, then of course they value other things more than the earth. But if they knew the connections that they have with all living beings, they would realize the earth is more valuable than anything you're trading it for. You would realize that whatever this word is that's being talked about has got to be universal. The church has no copyright on the word. And in this story, it's there at the very beginning. So when we look at John, it's important to realize he's not using parables in the same way. The other three gospels, Jesus talks in parables. In John, everything's a parable, in my opinion. He's not trying to do history, biography. It's trying to awaken us to who we are as children of God. You don't believe in God, children of the cosmos. So we're trying to use Escher to get a kind of sense of what the parables were intending to do. And I'm actually remembering the slides. There was one I ran across, a slide I ran across sometime back, and I can't find it anymore. I'm remembering it as a grasshopper on a helix, like the DNA helix. I can't find it, so it's maybe something besides a grasshopper. These are ants on a Moebius strip, which is not quite as good, except for the word made flesh means that we are all expressions of some deep kind of mathematical matrix to use of unfairness and some pain with love and beauty, I think most of us would choose that in a heartbeat. But that's saying that the people that say yes to this word are empowered to be the sons and daughters, children of God. There's not a really good English word for it. I say offspring. It wasn't just Jesus, right? And when the church makes it all about Jesus, then we're missing the point of this prologue. You wouldn't need the prologue if it was literally true. You wouldn't need parables if they were talking about a literal truth. The purpose of a parable is to help us see something that we're not aware of, to feel it, to hear it. And these paradoxes are trying to help us realize it's not that dark is bad and light is good, but to realize there is a kind of light shining in your worst darkness. There's kind of a song in the most silent moment. There's a bond that you're experiencing, even your loneliest, most isolated feelings. I think John is trying to help us go deeper and feel our connections to the whole world. In a few minutes, we're going to sing the song, What Child Is This? What child is this who laid to rest? And if you've always thought of that as just Jesus, maybe Jesus is great, no criticism here. But what if it's about something being born in you and me? What if there's something sacred where Jesus doesn't want you to sit in the bleachers and watch him do all of these things? That Jesus wants you to feel the same depth and love and wisdom that he lived his whole life. Buddha wanted that, but so they spoke in parables and riddles, so we wouldn't get lost in the literal, but we did. We have. So one of the verses we're going to sing together is the question. What child is this? It goes, why lies he in such lies or lays? Why lies he in such mean estate, where ox and ass are feeding? So you have this idea of this great cosmic ruler who's in a cattle trough. The Word made flesh, an infant can't speak. And yet somehow an infant touches us and brings something out of us that nothing else can. So it says, good Christian, fear, for sinners hear, the silent word is pleading. David's going to clean up the language there, but that idea that the pattern within you, that's the cosmic pattern, it's almost like it's trying to call you home. That when you see the pattern and feel it, that's beauty. When you just look and think about it, that's reason. When it moves you to love in a way that becomes justice for all people, that's when it blossoms even further. It talks about being a light to the whole world. That is not sectarian Christianity. Sectarian Christianity is not a light to the whole world. Right? If you're not Christian, then it's not. But this pattern, the pattern that's there deeper in us than we are in ourselves, I think John is calling us to that. The last thing I want to point out that John says is, he says, no one has ever seen God. Now that's kind of a strange thing to say. No one has ever seen God. How could you see the transcendent? But you may have had an experience that gave you images and feelings, and those are important, but they're bridges. You can't see it, taste it, feel it. You can't see it because it's that by which you see. You can't hear it because it's that by which you're hearing. So when the other gospel writers tell parables, when John puts this elaborate poem together, it's all to help us feel our roots. And you don't have to make this very strange. John wanted people to know the body's not bad. That's a lot of what he's trying to do, which is in his resurrection story, Jesus comes around and he's hungry for fish. What a ridiculous detail, except for it's saying that the spirit and the body are not separate. Light and dark are not separate. In this kind of cosmic poetry, the dark is the root of the light. It's like the candle out of which the flame burns. And to realize that it's born out of us. You won't find truth, goodness, beauty already there in the world. You have been sent to give birth to it. I mean, that's a poetic way of saying it. The word apostle means to be sent. You're coming from the ground of things. And the patterns in your body, remember that and recognize it in other people. What a gift it is when you can see that in the ordinary moments. And even in the problems of the world. I love Bishop Romero, and I'm getting close to wrapping up. So, Bishop Romero, we must not seek the child Jesus in the pretty figures of our Christmas cribs. We must seek him among the undernourished children who have gone to bed at night with nothing to eat, among the poor, the newsboys who will sleep covered with newspapers in doorways. He was speaking to a suffering nation. We also see it in the joyful, in the happy, in every person, animal, plant, that we are part of a frenzied symphony. If we realize that the word, if we learn how to see that which doesn't, a light that you can't see, it's coming out of the darkness, but it's there for you. A song that you can't hear, even though you know that life has this kind of beautiful harmony to it. So when we look at the Bible, if we look at it in the traditional form, I don't blame anybody for leaving the church. People in Europe have left in droves. If you look at the polls, it's in the United States, it is. But it doesn't have to be that way. If it'll lead people deeper into who they are, if they can feel their connection to other people. So this Christmas, as we tell the stories, to realize Christmas isn't just something that happened a long time back and far away. Christmas happens every time we see the pattern in things, in the middle of our chaos, in all of the mess, where we stop and see the beauty of things. That Christmas happens when we realize that we are that word that's made manifest in flesh. We're here on a mission, speaking poetically. And then finally to realize that when we love, even though nobody's ever seen God, when we love, we become the face of God for one another. And every one of us then becomes a light for the world. Well, that's my understanding of this text. I invite you now to a moment of reflection on your own.
one of my favorite parts of our service, and as Jim said, that if we are all Christ, then each one of us, and especially our new members, are Christ to each of us. And as we welcome new members, it's like Christmas. And we have 5 new members that we want to recognize today. And we would like to recognize Wanda Holcomb, if you would come up, and John Albert and Don Jones, if you would come up, and also Amy and Rob Crowell, if you would come up. They have joined at different times in these past few months, and we're slowly catching up on introducing them to you. I'm going to introduce Wanda, and then I'm going to have John and Amy or introduce themselves. And we will have them come out at the end. And as we're going, I think we're all going out to celebrate the new playground, and wherever Jim's gonna stand, we're gonna have them stand near Jim so that you can welcome them. Wanda and her husband George have been in Austin for 20 years. They've been very involved in social justice issues and involved with many of you in social justice issues. Her husband died, George died fairly recently. They had been members of a different church, and she decided that she wanted to do something that made a difference. And she felt that coming to St. Andrews would make a difference. And so we are thrilled, Wanda, to have you as part of us. And then I'm going to hand this to John.
Hey there, I'm John, and this is my husband, Don. We recently moved 5 months ago from Louisville, Kentucky, and our pastor out there gave us the name of a church, and this was it. And ever since we've been coming to this church, we've been involved in everything, and we just are happy to have a home.
We are so glad they're both with us. And Rob and Amy Crowell have twins, and Blythe and Chaplin, and they're off in children's choir. And who wins? I think so.
I'm Amy Crowell.
And Rob Crowell.
And we are so pleased to be part of this family. And we're recovering evangelicals, I guess. We're both teachers. I'm a high school theater teacher, and Rob teaches at Austin Community College. And we just feel very called to being a part of a community of love. And,
we felt really at home here, and it felt like kind of coming home here. You've been talking a lot about finding that pattern, and so we're very grateful for the way the community's accepted us, and we're just excited to get plugged in and meet new people, and so thank y'all.
Truly, when people join, we don't have them express a set of beliefs. What they do is they join us all on the path of love. And so they are now a part of us as we go forward. Thank you.
As we prepare for our offering, we'll have a community reading of the call to service and offering. Made for the life of love, gathered as a church for others, we offer our gifts for the possibilities of the beloved community. Let us be thankful as we give that we can do more together than we can do alone. May all our open hearts and open hands change us and help change the world. The ushers come forward, please.
We're going to teach you a song during the offertory, and this song will be what we will sing after the benediction when we all go out, everybody who can anyway. We're going to go out, and y'all can go ahead. We're going to go out and see our new backyard and playground. And so we're going to sing this song. We lit the candle of peace this morning, and so the song is about peace. We're going to sing these words. You'll hear the choir sing them, and then I'm going to come back and lead you at the end, and we'll learn that and sing it right after the benediction later.
Desert.
gather up all the good gifts of this community, all of the words, all of the light, all of the joy, all of the images that you've gathered this morning. Let them be embers in your soul, lighting hope, lighting peace, and taking it with you into the world. I want to invite our children up now. They're going to lead us out into a procession into our new backyard and our celebration. So anyone who wants to help me lead, come on up. Okay.
Come on down.
Here you go, sir. All right.
Are we ready?
I think we're ready.
All right, we're going to start the song off, and Todd and I will walk out this way, and y'all come out right behind us, okay? Peace is flowing like a river. Peace is flowing like a river, flowing out through you and me, spreading out into the desert, all the captives free. Peace is flowing like a river, flowing out through you and me, spreading out into the desert, setting all the captives free.
Ah, there we go. Okay, now then. Hello? Uh-oh.